All right, everybody, it's your boy Rich from Paul Marcus Photos. Today is another review I wanted to do, which I saw someone else do, which was pretty cool. Is they had listed the best purchases they had made since getting into photography and the worst purchases they made since they got into photography. So I'm going to give you, well, we'll start with my 5 best and my 5 worst. I might add a couple other comments, but let's start with my 5 best purchases since getting into photography, growing myself into a professional photographer, investing in pro gear, working on jobs, learning, getting experience and all that. So there's probably no particular order, but I'll start with one of my favorite purchases and the one that's probably added the most value to my photography, and that is Tamron 70-200 2.8 lens, ultra silent drive, which is USD, and it's vibration controlled or vibration compensation, has VC on it. So this was the first one they came out with. I think there's a version 2 now, but this is the Tamron 70-200 lens 2.8. And I say it's the best purchase I've made because of a couple of reasons. The story goes, I was when I was new to Canon, I was trying to save up for lenses. The first one I got was a 24-70 because it's kind of the all-around lens. But eventually, I noticed that I needed a certain look to photographs that I was missing, and I saw some other photographers' pictures, and I actually messaged one guy on Facebook, and I asked him, I was like, how are you making the background look like that? And he said, I shot that with a 70-200. And I was like, oh, so that's it. So then that actually enhanced my learning of what that lens does, is compresses the background. It brings the background closer to the person that you're taking a picture of, compressing it. And it makes it blurry, especially if they're farther, the background is very far away from them. As you zoom into the person, it compresses the background and it blurs it out. So with the 70-200, that was the first thing. It gave me the look that I wanted in my own photographs when I took pictures of people. If I zoomed into them, it blurred out everything else. The other thing it does, and is another benefit, is it allows on a wedding for me to kind of stay further away from people. So I can be in a room and take pictures that are really intimate and close into the action, but I'm far away from them. So in a certain space, I can be against the wall and I can zoom into people having a conversation and having a laugh, a genuine laugh, not looking at me, not paying attention to me, and I'm able to get those pictures that are candid moments. Girl getting her makeup done, a little girl getting her hair braided or pins on her in her hair, whatever. Those little soft moments that are not posed, they're not staged, I'm able to stand in the corner in a room and just observe and take those pictures. So this allows me to be a fly on the wall in a sense and take great pictures at a wedding or a venue where I don't want to say, hey, look at me, pose, and then take a photo. Sometimes the best pictures are the ones that people are not posing for. So you're able to pan a room, or in a wedding, I can look at the guests and see somebody crying. I can zoom into that and take that picture from across the room. And that's, instead of me having to get really close with her and then she looks up because she's crying and sticking a camera in her face. So the 70-200 has multiple reasons, but it actually stepped the quality of my photos up. It gave me a look to my photos that I was looking for, and it allows me to get candid moments in certain spaces without messing up the moment by sticking a camera in. So those are the main reasons. The last reason I'll mention is that this camera, this lens, when I bought it, was $1,000 cheaper than the Canon comparable lens. The Canon lens, I think when I was looking, was about $24.99, $23.99. It was up in that range. I was saving up my money for that Canon lens. And I happened to go to the camera store for a totally different reason. And while I was in there, I happened to mention that to the sales guy. I was like, yeah, I'm saving up for that Canon lens. I should have the money for it another month or so. And he said, well, you know, Tamron just released one. Have you seen it? And I said, no. So he pulls it out and says, hey, you need to try this real quick. It It's an awesome lens. We've tested it. It works great. It's beautiful colors, etc., etc. It's vibration controlled and all that. I had my camera with me, luckily. I stuck it on there, and I took some test shots in the store of people just walking around the store. I was able to zoom in. The focus was fast. The colors looked great. The bokeh was beautiful. And I was like, wow. And that lens was $1,000 cheaper. And I already had, I think I had like $1,500 already saved up. So I bought the lens that day. And so like I say, it's just pretty much, I had the money. I've been saving for another one. This one came into the game $1,000 cheaper, and everything was, they had all these options. Look, it was $1,000 cheaper. It has a 6-year warranty. And I think there was a $200 rebate when I bought it. So I got the thing $1,200 cheaper than the Canon lens. Has a longer warranty. And the pictures, I've actually done a side-by-side test of this lens versus a friend of mine's Canon, and I like this lens pictures better. They were sharper, the colors were more rich right out of the camera, and having everything the same. The Canon colors were a little bit more muted, and the pictures were, to me, a little bit softer than this one. So, number one, Tamron has been my rock-solid lens. And I've been shooting great pictures. You love a lot of my work. A lot of those pictures are shot with that lens. Okay. The next thing. Oh. I don't know how it's supposed to be called. I've heard people call this a Wacom. I've heard it called a Wacom. This I call it a Wacom, but Wacom tablet. Okay. This tablet is for editing. And I have the, what model do I have? PTH 650. It's an Intuos 5. I was told by some photographer that you need to, are you editing with a tablet? And I said, no. He said, you need to get off the mouse and start editing with a tablet, because once you start using it, you're never going to go back to using a mouse. And at the time I was, using a mouse on Photoshop and all that. I got the tablet. I think the tablet is about $500. Maybe it was $400, but it was in that $399, $499 mode, I thought. Anyway, got the tablet, and in the first few days you hate it because you're not used to it. You're not used to the functions. You don't have the skill, and you don't have the patience when you're trying to edit photos. I had photos to edit for people and orders to process. And I just wanted to go back to what I know so I can get these jobs done. And I pulled this thing out, and I hooked it up, and I read the manual, and I looked online, some videos trying to use it, and it was just frustrating me. So I ditched it, finished up some jobs using a mouse, and then I went back to it. And that same person who was telling me to get one said, you gotta stay with it for 30 days. If you stay with it for 30 days, you'll learn it. So I dedicated myself to actually work with it for 30 days, even though I was choppy and I wasn't smooth and I wasn't fast and I didn't know how to use it and press it and touch it and all this stuff. As I kept using it and kept watching more videos and kept getting better, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, I was comfortable. And then your editing gets so much better. So when customers like my editing and they see my editing versus others and they say, yeah, your editing looks really good and all that clean, it's because I'm using a precise instrument. I can get in there and take out wrinkles. I can get in there and take out spots. I can fix stuff. Precise detail. Instead of with a mouse, it's not as precise. It can make your work a little sloppy, and you don't have the precision or the control that you do with that tablet. So my editing game stepped up tenfold buying that tablet, and I've been using that thing for many years now. But that's like one of the other huge purchase, top 5 purchases. A lens I love, creates me great images. They look beautiful to me. I love what it produces for me. And then to be able to edit my images as I need to with that tablet, I mean, that's kind of almost the recipe behind the scenes of what I got. I got a great lens that gives me good shots. And then I have an editing tablet and some software that actually allows me to do what I do. Of course, I don't need to mention it, but I'll mention you got to have Photoshop. And I incorporated Lightroom at some point later, but Lightroom and Photoshop are my mainstays. and then the edit is in Photoshop with that tablet, and your pictures, you're able to detail and correct little small things and make everything look really good. All right, moving on. I'll put links to all my favorites at the bottom of this post, and that way you can click on the links and you can see each item and actually take a look at them, read reviews and all that stuff. One of my other favorites is going to be my Think Tank bag. It's called an airport check-in. So it's a rolling bag. It's a camera bag. It's a roller. It looks like a rollerboard piece of luggage for your airport. And I am not going to bring it on screen, but it's when you talk about Think Tank bags, you're talking about, to me, it's like one of the best companies out there. There's some other ones that make great bags. I just happen to be partial to Think Tank because I got one. It's awesome. When I find something I like to stay with it. So I have two Think Tank bags. One is the kind of everyday bag, and one is a bigger one that I use for events in town when I got to take my stuff to a wedding or some other event in a building, and I can lock it up and all that kind of stuff. But this Think Tank airport check-in is my everyday camera bag. I put two cameras in there, 70-200, multiple lenses, a couple of flashes, batteries, cables. I can put my laptop in there. I can fit so much stuff in that one bag. And it's durable, it's high quality. I haven't had a stitch come loose, a wheel come, off. The handle hasn't broken, and it's been through a lot, lifting it and carrying it. The other thing I love about it is it actually has shoulder straps. So it has a panel that you can unzip, tuck under, Velcros itself to the bottom of the bag, and then it has two hidden shoulder straps where you can put this thing on your back, and let's say you're going into a park or you're going to climb a mountain to take pictures up there. Well, now you can put this on your back and you can walk instead of trying to drag it across gravel and rocks and dirt and everything else. So they've thought of everything. You can roll it through streets and concrete and all that, and floors and everything else. But if you needed to, strap it on your back, unzip, put the shoulder strap on, and now you got a backpack. So it's a convertible roller to a backpack, which is awesome. The inside pockets are waterproof, water resistant. They zip up and seal. I've had no issues with the bag. I love the bag. Think Tank makes great stuff. Check them out. Like I said, links will be below. Okay, moving on. MagMod system. Okay, so I liked MagMod when I first saw it, and I didn't buy it right away because I read some reviews that was concerned about the magnet. So what the MagMod system is, if some people don't know or haven't seen it yet, it's a magnetic system of attachments for your flashes. And they're growing their products, so now I think they have a strobe set up or something like that too. But they make these silicone kind of rubber band kind of things that fit on top of your flash. Slip right over top of the flash, and it's a nice stretchy silicone rubbery kind of material. Fits over top of the flash, and then they sell a bunch of attachments that are magnets that allow you to just connect this right onto the flash. So now you can shoot through this. It's going to soften the light and give you light when you need it. When you're done with it, you just take it off. This folds up. You can put this in your bag. You can put this in your pocket. It's collapsible. It has a little carry case. I keep my bags and put it in there, but it fits easily into stuff. And it's as simple as on and off, on and off. And it's very fast. So I love it because it sped up my workflow. They have modifiers they color gels. You can put all kind of grids and stuff like that on top of this flash, and came up with a system that it doesn't need to separate, and you can easily put it on and take it off. Put it on, take it off. So it's much faster. And they've made it, like I said, many different attachments for this. So it allows you to be fast. I like to be fast. I like to be efficient, get my shots and be done. I don't want to be messing around with these attachments and dropping stuff and picking up and screwing on and taking it. It's just a pain. So MagMod system, check that out because their stuff is awesome. A lot of different pieces of the puzzle that they add to your flash game and your light game, and it can be very quick and it speeds you up. Last thing I'll bring up is my Flashpoint R2 lithium ion system. So, and this link will be on there. Adorama has a house brand called Flashpoint. That house brand at Adorama is very good, and it's only gotten better year after year. So eventually, when I first started, I bought one Canon speed light from a guy because the Canon speed lights were $550 or something. I bought one used from somebody for like $250. It was a deal, so I got it. But that's very expensive for like one of these speed lights being $500. And if you need to have 2, 3, 4, just keep adding it up. 4 of these lights is $2,000 if you buy Canon. Matter of fact, the Canon one is $600, so 600 times however many you need. This Flashpoint one is $179, and this came out a year or so ago, year and a half ago, and there's a few benefits. One, it doesn't use AA batteries, so you're not constantly draining batteries, trashing them, putting in 4 new batteries. Take 4 batteries from most flashes, and they're going to die after so many flashes. Well, now the new thing is lithium-ion batteries. A lithium-ion battery, you can recharge it, and it's going to be able to be used again, and again. The other benefit of a lithium-ion battery is it does not die if you don't use it. So if you fully charge it and you leave it on the shelf for a month and you put it in, it's still fully charged. It doesn't drain over time. So they came out with a flash that has new buttons and technology built in, and a radio system, and a lithium-ion battery. So now I'm not buying AA's all the time, I'm just recharging this. This thing is supposed to be good for like 1,000 flashes, full power, and it has its radio system built in. That was the only thing that I was a little disappointed off in the beginning, because I was like, I have to buy the flash, and I have to buy a trigger. And then for other lights that don't have their R2 system, is what they call their wireless, they didn't have, I had to buy receivers if I wanted to trip lights that don't have the R2 system built in. So it was an investment of, I have to buy new flashes, new triggers, and a couple different receivers to add to older lights without the R2 system in it. But I will say overall, it's probably one of the best purchases. It's one of my best 5 purchases. The benefit. I now have 1, 2, 3. I have 5 lights that all work on the same radio trigger. And the benefit is that I love, I don't have to now walk over to the light to turn it up or down by hand, and then come back and take a test shot and then measure the light, or just based off of what I'm looking at, go adjust the left light, go adjust the right light, come back, take a picture. Do I like it? That left one is too high, turn it down. If you have an assistant, they're doing it. I mean, I've been working pretty much by myself a lot coming up, and you know, I've seen big productions and the photographer has assistants and they go turn the lights up and down or move the lights forward and backwards and all that kind of stuff. You're working by yourself, I don't have that luxury. So Flashpoint R2 system has simplified my life with flashes and adjusting them, and I'm adjusting them very simply on the fly. And so that made my life much easier. So those are my 5 best purchases. I'll recap them one more time. Tamron 70-200 lens, dependable, rock solid lens, beautiful pictures. My Wacom tablet for editing. Think Tank airport check-in for dragging my camera gear all around. MagMod, love the MagMod system. It's very fast. Easy on, easy off, very flexible, got creative gels, got all kind of stuff for your flashes. And the Flashpoint R2 system, that's speed lights, studio strobes, and they have an Evolve kit, which is like 2 lights that are more powerful than the speed light. They're 3 times the power of this, they're almost the same size. They're bigger, a little bit heavier, but they give you more power, which I take that on the road because then it gives me a lot more power in a light, so I don't have to take studio strobes. So that's my top 5. and I'm gonna make another video of my worst 5. So until then, thank you for tuning into my channel. If you like this video, it helped you, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. All right, thanks.